I'm now going to discuss the individual elements of the project framework. First, we'll go down through goal, purpose, outputs, activities, and inputs. Then I'll jump across to assumptions and risks, followed by performance targets and indicators, and finally, monitoring mechanisms. First, let's look at the goal statement. The goal design summary statement should be a statement of the desired medium-term development impact that is achievable or accessible about 3 years after project completion. Why do we choose 3 years? This is because it is the time when the Operations Evaluation Department commonly post-evaluates projects. So it is sensible that we are able to assess or measure the extent of goal attainment. It is true that this does represent something of a change from past practice. In previous times, the goal statement in individual project frameworks was used to create the link to broader strategic objectives, be they those of ADB or our developing member countries. Now, it is absolutely essential, of course, that all ADB operations be capable of demonstrating such links to broader strategic objectives. However, as we are moving as an organisation to adopt a Managing for Development results agenda, increasingly we will demonstrate this linkage at the country, strategy and program level and through sector roadmaps. So, for example, the linkage of our operations to objectives such as poverty reduction will be demonstrated and attributed at the country, strategy and program level. This means that for individual operations, we can bring our goal statement down a little closer to the time of project completion. And this will help us in terms of assessing performance, because one of the problems we have in assessing the performance of the contribution of individual operations to higher level goals is that of attribution. So we should be looking for our goal statements to be achievable or at least measurable around 3 years. Now, I don't want to be dogmatic about that, 3 or so years after project completion. The other important point to note is that goal attainment should be partly attributable to our project, but our project or our operation will not be the sole contributor to goal attainment. Other investments, be it by the government or other development partners, will also be needed. Along with this presentation, you will have received a copy of a checklist of what to look for when assessing the quality of project frameworks. I'll run over quickly some of those items. First, there should be a single, succinct statement of goal. We should not have multiple goal statements, nor should they be confusing. It should be quite clear what the measurable impact is that we expect to produce at a fixed point in time. Secondly, the goal statement should be plausibly attributable in part to the project. Thirdly, it should be plausibly achievable around 3 years after project completion. The fourth point is an important one. Ideally, and I don't want to be definitive here, but ideally, it should be phrased as an expected beneficial impact on a defined group of people. Development is about people. It is about bringing benefits to people. We want to have positive impacts on the lives of people. So therefore, it is highly desirable that our goal statements be phrased in terms of those desired positive impacts on people's lives. Now, I know there may be some operations, and particularly some technical assistance, where this is not always possible, but try and think of it in these terms. Another point to note is that goal statements should be potentially capable of measurement. There is no point in putting forward an expected result area which we cannot measure. The last point is that the goal statement should be phrased as an impact, as a result, and not as an action. So as soon as we see verbs in goal statements, to provide, to strengthen, we know we're dealing with an action, not an end result.